Everyone is wrong about Jurassic World Rebirth. Listen, I just got out of the theater for my second time watching Jurassic World Rebirth, and after my first time viewing the film, I thought the hate was much. This time, I went in with a pen and my brand new notebook to jot down my thoughts and properly inform you of your inaccurate opinions. This is going to be broken up into a few parts in order to keep my thoughts organized so you can better understand what I'm saying. So first off, to get things out of my way, the nitpicks. I'm not gonna lie, I have nitpicks with it. I have nitpicks with every film, including all of my favorites. First off, I feel like the plot of, oh my god, the dinosaurs are dying, didn't add a whole lot. Yeah, you still could have went to the island. Didn't really have to be a thing, personally. Speaking of the plot, we need the DNA samples from the 3 biggest creatures, land, sea, and air, for the cure. I felt like they were just trying to get them on the island, the same way that Jurassic Park 3, like they were just trying to get them on the island, which isn't, I won't lie, which isn't the worst of things, you know, get them on the island. I love Jurassic Park 3, and this movie, quite frankly, is very Jurassic Park 3 coded. There also might be a few more very tiny nitpicks as I carry on, but those are my 2 biggest gripes with the film. So let's just get on to the rest. First off, the laboratory sequence. I feel like there's a lot of hate towards the D.rex when it comes to, I've seen a lot of criticisms upon the design and a lot of confusion with the story. So let me settle that. The D.rex design and concept, I think, is really awesome. It looks kind of puggish. It looks messed up, like there's things going wrong with it, and I really genuinely feel like that's the point. From my understanding, from at least kind of hints of what the director has said, I'll pull those up on screen so you guys can make your own opinion on that. It generally feels like a failed clone of a T-Rex rather than a hybrid, which is cool. It's kind of taking a step away from it. Now, do I know why they were trying to clone T-Rex? No. And that's probably another nitpick of, hey, why are they making so many D-Rexes? And I'm of the opinion of, it was either the 4th D-Rex, the one we saw in the film, or like the 20th something. I think they explained it in the film that they don't kill the things because of accounting reasons, which I guess makes sense in a real life situation. So I think D.rex just means like failed T-Rex clone. They could have very well been trying to make the T-Rex better in some way by messing with its genes rather than adding genes in of another species into it. And that's why we're getting these weird pug looking D-Rexes, or at least the D.rex that we got, which the pug look makes sense because a pug is caused by very, very selective breeding of dogs to make it look like that. And it's to the point where like their face is all scrunched up, they have trouble breathing and a lot of health issues because they're bred to look like that, which could very well be symbolism of the genetic control that is often talked about and expanded on throughout the entire Jurassic Park series. So as a design, as a concept of it being a failed T-Rex clone, I'm a fan of. I don't personally think that it's a hybrid. I can kind of see the resemblance of like a Titanosaurus, but I'm not convinced. I'm definitely way more convinced that it's just a failed T-Rex. Continuing with the laboratory sequence, a Snickers wrapper. A Snickers wrapper! Also, the little details of like the 2-headed Mutodon was really interesting, and you know, I didn't get a great look, but there's definitely a lot to look in when it comes to the background and what the computers and stuff were saying. That definitely could have added to the lore. And I do believe a little issue is we don't have a whole lot of lore when it comes to the D.rex. I'd love a little bit more lore about him. I'm really interested in the D.rex. I feel like there's a lot more that could be said when it comes to having him in the movie. First off, when it comes to cast characters, I didn't have any major issues personally. Did I want some people to die? Yes. But they didn't, and like there was definitely character growth. There's definitely like interesting interactions. I didn't have any issues with the actors or the characters themselves. Also, I do want to say that I think the Mosasaurus was probably the best part of the film. Like when I watched it, it was really close to the feeling that I remember when I first saw the Mosasaurus in theater for the first time in the original Jurassic World, where you're just awestruck at the size and how incredible it looks and acts. It's just huge. It's this huge creature that we've never seen before, and it was just implemented so good. When it jumped out of the water, and like when it splashed back down, and the seats were, at my theater at least, the seats were rumbling. It was actually insanely good. I could not get enough of the Mosasaurus. The Spinosaurs, they were kind of cool too. It's an interesting idea. Symbiosis or mutualism, I think, was specifically what the paleontologist said in the film. That's definitely a new interesting idea for the film. I enjoyed that. I didn't have too much beef with it. Just give me an excuse to have Spinosaurus in the movie. I thought I originally didn't really like the designs of the Spinosaurus looking at the trailers, but when I saw them fully in action, it was nice. I thoroughly enjoyed them. Also really likes the variations in sail patterns between individuals. That's something I like very much. And also the scene, the beach scene with the Spinosaurus is probably my favorite Spinosaurus scene in the movie. I was gonna say all time, but Jurassic Park 3 in this entirety is perfect when it comes to Spinosaurus scenes. But no, when you can't see it because it's laying on the side, you don't see the sail, it just looks like rocks, and then when it wakes up, it flips up and you see the sail emerge and it crawls into the water and just like snaps the lady, and you see like the blood spatter of it. It was actually really brutal for what I expected this movie to be. So this is going to be probably one of my most controversial takes, but raptor burnout. And what I mean that is that we did have one little scene with the raptors. They could not put a scene with the raptors. You know, the raptors were disrespected. I'll agree. That was disrespectful what happened to them. The Mutodons going after them like that? That was disrespectful. Hear me out. I love Blue. I love Charlie. I love Echo. I love Delta. I love Beta. But all of the 6 previous movies, the raptors have been such an insanely large focus, and like that's not like that big of a problem. But when you're doing a 6 movie straight and they're like a major plot point in the film all of the time, I get a little bit of burnout. So it was really interesting to see you know, a movie with less raptor, even though they were kind of replaced with the Mutodons. But I felt like didn't really feel like that they were just using the Mutodons instead of the raptor. To me, it genuinely felt like a different species that is doing a similar thing because it has raptor DNA. We watched the same movie, guys, but it definitely felt like a different thing, which I really enjoyed. And the idea of the raptors being hunted and having a predator really interests me because we've never seen the raptors be hunted down by a different animal before, except for Jurassic Park 1. But although the raptors did kind of come at the Rex, I feel like a little bit. The Titanosaurus scene, that was literally what I have written down right here, is the Titanosaurus scene was a moment. And I mean that in a good way. It was definitely a good moment. It was definitely a homage to the Brachiosaurus scene in Jurassic Park 1. That's fine. I love that. I'm all for the wow, it's beautiful type scenes. I eat that up all the time. I loved it. The first time I watched it, my girlfriend nearly cried when she was watching that scene, and she's way less invested into the franchise than I am. So it was a very good scene. I love the detail. Speaking of the paleontologist guy, I love the detail that he studied under Alan Grant. That's a good little detail that they didn't have to put in there, but they did. Love it. So now, my second favorite scene of the movie, other than all of the Mosasaurus scenes, the Tyrannosaurus scene. Oh my god. There was so much thought put into it, actually. First off, new Tyrannosaurus looks good. I have no complaints about the design of the new Tyrannosaurus. I really liked that it was really animalistic. And hear me out. A lot of the time I feel like the T-Rex pops out of nowhere and its goal is just to eat people. And I know I'm not the first one to have this opinion. I've heard this opinion before, and I promise I have a little bit of a different spin on it. I like the implication that the T-Rex killed the Parasaurolophus and was eating that, and then, you know, went to go sleep. And we had a similar thing with the T-Rex eating the Triceratops Jurassic Park 3. Not completely the same, but it's a similar idea. Here's where I feel like is the most animalistic part. Is that as a person working on the film, you have to think about everything. And they thought about specifically where a Tyrannosaurus Rex would go and sleep in this circumstance. And I mean that to the point where, like, they could have just made it like laying down the rocks or behind some bushes. But no, they made it seem like the T-Rex chose the bushiest, tallest grass to lay down on, almost like a bed. Like that was the most comfiest spot. And you can kind of see this when the T-Rex is laying down there and rolls over. And to me, if I was T-Rex size in that bed of grass, I would take a nap on that bitch as well. Oh my god, did he look cozy. But you know, there's also the point where, like, oh, it was animalistic because it, you know, didn't immediately go and try to eat the people. It was curious. I want to learn more. Yeah, I agree. That's true. But I don't feel like enough people are talking about the fact that they made the T-Rex choose that specific place and go and sleep. They have to think about everything. And the fact that they thought about that as a film crew, filmmakers, script writers, I love them for that. Also, level 40 Kulisukis. I feel like the ending sequence with the D.rex, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very different from everything that we've got before. I really liked the helicopter part. I know there's a lot of people talking about, oh, the size inaccuracy, yada yada. Do we care? Do we care that much? Is that real? What are y'all wanting from this movie? Do we care? Did we care? I didn't care. That shit was awesome. I didn't care. What are you expecting out of a Jurassic movie? I'm expecting, you know, sizes to make sense. Okay. I'm going into a Jurassic movie expecting a fun time with dinosaurs. I got that. What do y'all want? But no, I don't really have too much to say about the ending D-Rex scene other than, like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really neat. It showed a little bit more of the D-Rex's character. Especially the fact that it didn't eat Duncan. There's definitely something to be said there that we don't quite know yet. Or another video worthy topic. Might be another nitpick, but no Mosasaur at the end? What? That's just because I love the Mosasaurus in that film. But the second time I actually took my mom along with me because she watched the trailers and decided that it looks pretty good. Even though I feel like the trailers made the movie look not good personally. But, you know, rolled with it. And when the credits started rolling, she looks at me and she goes, "Are all the movies like this?" Like, Ma, I have no idea what you mean. She goes, "All of the Jurassic World movies, are they all like this?" And I said, yeah, they're all like that. She goes, with like the dinosaurs and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, that's the Jurassic World franchise. That's why I hold this so close and dear to my heart. And I feel like a lot of people are overlooking the fact that this movie very well could be the introduction to the Jurassic World franchise. And especially the fact that, you know, my mom has seen the original 3 Jurassic Park movies, and she was thoroughly impressed with this one. I feel like if that's a way to prove that y'all are just hating overly, that it proves it. I feel like that's just something for you guys to think on. What are your standards for a Jurassic World movie? But also think about the new first-time viewers. How do you think they felt about the movie? because I know what I felt about the movie. And if you think that movie is a bad movie, you're wrong.